Hello everybody, and welcome to a new series on the Odyssey called I Hate Illumination. Now, this series has been in the works for like years. It was originally going to be something different where I kind of just like took Illumination stuff and like destroyed it. But I thought that'd be a really bad series now that I thought about it. So I thought maybe I should make this more of like a review series of like every Illumination movie as like a sort of spin-off to the Illumination rant, you know, to go more in detail. Maybe if my opinions changed from that video, since that video was almost 3 years ago. So yeah, that's what this series is going to be about. I'm going to do monthly episodes like all the other series on the channel. This video probably isn't coming out in January because it's the 29th as of me recording this. Well, maybe it will, but whatever. So the first video is on Despicable Me because that's the first Illumination movie. And I'm gonna split it up into 5 categories. I'm gonna do this for every movie, but the categories are story, characters, animation, music, and impact. So those are the 5 categories, and I'm gonna, out of 10, I'm gonna grade each category and then, average it up for the official ranking. So yeah, let me get started with the story of Despicable Me. The plot of Despicable Me is a villain steals a pyramid, and Gru, who wants to be known as like the best villain of all time, is mad at this, so he makes a plan to steal the moon, and the way he does that is he has to get a shrink ray, and he finds out that this other villain named Vector has a shrink ray, so he steals it from him. But the way he steals it from him, he adopts these 3 girls from this adoption center, and then he uses them to like pretend to sell him cookies so he can sneak in and get the shrink ray. So he does that. So, and then he goes to shrink the moon. And while he's planning for that, he has to put the girls up for adoption again because he has to focus on the moon thing. But he was having a lot of fun with them, so he was very sad. So then he went in space and shrunk the moon and was really happy. But he still wanted to make their dance that he promised to make. So then he went back down and tried to make it, but he couldn't. But then Vector steals the girls, so then Gru has to go and, save the girls, and he does, and Vector, gets, like, shot into space, basically. And that's basically the movie. That's the story, it's the plot, that's the whole thing. Sorry if you have never watched Despicable Me and you're very sad that I gave you spoilers on that. But, yeah, so I think this is a pretty good story, honestly. It's very, like, it's kind of just like a story about, like, parenting, because this guy is, like, the opposite of what a parent should be. But then he ends up being a good parent, and I think it's a pretty good story, pretty good plot. So I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 for the plot. Alright, so now for the characters. So the main character obviously is Gru. He's the tall, bald guy that wants to be the best villain in the world. You have Vector, who is, the actual villain of the movie, Back, let me roll the clip of me saying 2 years ago that Vector is annoying.
Again!
Did I? Wait! What did I just say?
I think the villain's really annoying.
Did you just say Vector's annoying?
Oh my god, you just say what I think you say.
No.
I'm banning you from the Odyssey.
I'm banning you. I'm banning you from the hippie cool birthday party.
It's now F. Yeah, that's probably the worst clip of all time. I don't agree with that anymore. Vector is the best villain ever. The best character ever, actually. And you have the girls who are, one of them is like the smart one that is like the leader, and one of them is like the tomboy, and then one of them is like the little girl who just, you know, loves everything pink, everything unicorns, whatever. They're good. Gru is good. Vector, obviously, I said my opinions on him. Dr. Nefario, he's Gru's like helper. I don't really know the word. He's like his sidekick, I guess. I don't really like him because he's kind of annoying. I don't know. I don't really think you're supposed to like him though. So, you know, it's that. What else do you have? The minions, obviously. You know, the minions are kind of known for being annoying, but they're not really that annoying in this movie. They're annoying in the other movies because they spend a lot more time on the minions in the other movies, but they're like really just like side characters in this movie. Like, they're not, you know, at all like main characters in this movie, which I think is good. So yeah, that's really the main characters of the movie, I'd say. I think the characters are, it's decent, you know, they're decent. I'm gonna give the characters like a 9 out of 10, honestly. They're really good, to be honest, in this movie. Alright, I have my MP4 of Despicable Me up now. Don't tell the government, please. I'm gonna mute the audio. The animation, okay, so let's think about this. This is 2010. Alright. Toy Story 3 was 2010 as well, right? Alright. So the animation, so the point of Illumination is for their animation to not, like, they're not, like, that's not the main focus of the movie, the animation, you know? The focus of the movie is just, like, make an entertaining movie for kids, you know, and to make the money that they lost by, you know, animating the movie. So the animation obviously isn't gonna be great, but, you know, I think, you know, it's not necessarily bad. It's decent. The animation, you know, it's definitely, you can tell that it was definitely, like, you know, from over a decade ago. It's not, it hasn't aged that well. I think especially the Minions, it hasn't aged greatly. Yeah, I'm gonna give the animation like a, I'd say 5 out of 10 for animation. Alright, so now we get to the music. So before recording this, I actually listened to the full Despicable Me motion picture soundtrack on Spotify. It's 10 songs long, and you know, it's actually decent, which I didn't expect. So, like, there are a few songs that kind of just suck. Like, there was this one song, "I'm on a Roll" by Destiny in Paris. I don't even, like, I had to literally look up those people on Wikipedia to know who they are. That was just like a generic pop song. And then we have the Minion Mambo, which is probably the worst song I've ever heard. It's awful. It's just absolutely terrible. It sounds like an Alvin and the Chipmunk song. And the Unicorn song has a total of 4 words. Not kidding. 4 words. A whole 4 words in the song. What's the words again? I don't even remember. Let me see. Unicorns, I love them. That's all that Agnes says through the whole song. It's a 2-minute long song of her just saying unicorns, I love them. It's not good. And all the other songs, you know, I like them. There's some songs that are like from like, you know, the past that we're just putting this. The one from the Bee Gees, Boogie Fever. But then there's 4 songs from Pharrell Williams, whatever you want to call him. I think the first 3 of his on this album are good, especially like the first 2 because those were from the movie. Actually, the first 3 are from the movie, whatever. But the 4th one, a Rockets theme, it's just a really like boring like song. It's just weird, you know. It's like trying to be emotional, but it's like it's not. It's weird. I don't know. That one kind of sucks. There's Robin Thicke's song, which is also from the movie. I think that's good too. So overall, I give this soundtrack like a 6 out of 10. Alright, let's move on to the impact. Alright. So the impact. This movie had a really big impact on animation, film, whatever. Not really film. I'm not gonna go that far. But, so this was Illumination's first movie. 3 years after, you know, they made their movie. They made their company. That's what I meant to say. So, yeah, this movie had a really big impact. So the budget of the movie was $69 million, and it opened in the box office 56 million, which is pretty good. You know, it's not great, but it's decent. And overall, worldwide, it made $543 million, which is crazy. You know, that's like that's really good, especially for the first, you know, movie from an animation studio. That's really good. And the impact of this movie, it like Illumination made 3 other Minion Despicable Me movies after this that all did better than this movie. So, you know, I think that's really good impact. So I'm gonna give this like an 8 out of 10 impact wise. So let's see. So for the story, I gave it an 8 out of 10, I think. I'll correct myself in the editing if I'm wrong later. So 8, and then characters I gave 9. Animation I gave a 5. Music I gave 6, and then I gave 8 to that. Okay, and then divided by 5, so that comes out to 7 out of 10. So Despicable Me, for me, gets a 7 out of 10, which I think that's pretty good. You know, it's decent. Despicable Me, I never thought Despicable Me, the first one at least, was a bad movie. I always enjoyed this movie. Honestly, I would probably give it an 8 out of 10 if I was just going by my opinion, but, you know, I was just doing all these categories and evening it, like, averaging it, I mean. So, you know, it ended up being 7, but I still think 7's pretty good and probably better than anything that's gonna come out of the rest of these videos. You'll see why. The other movies are not good. But, yeah, so, thank you for watching. It's the first episode. In the comments, tell me if you liked it. If you didn't, I'm still gonna make it. But if you tell me that you liked it, at least I know that some people enjoy the series. Next month we're gonna do Hop, which is it's a movie. Yeah, it's you'll see. It's not the greatest, but it'll be a fun one. Well, whatever. See you later. Bye. Like and subscribe if you want to the Odyssey. Subscribe to my channel, and yeah, goodbye.